How's it going, everybody? Evan here, back with another video about the making of RetroMMO, where we'll be taking a more in-depth look at how the game's engine works. If you have not already seen the game engine overview video of this series, I'd highly recommend giving that one a watch first. Link is in the description. In today's episode, I'll be giving some insight into how players' save files are managed in RetroMMO. Let's get started. Alright, now that we have the code in front of us, I will go ahead and walk you through all of the key parts of the code that deal with save files. I think the first step is taking a look at the structure of the data that we're dealing with. What we have in front of us right now is my definition of the users table for our MySQL database. You can see on the users table we have a save file column which is of type JSON. And the structure of that JSON object is defined by our player interface. Our player interface contains every single property that is stored on your player, even the ones not persisting between sessions, even the ones not stored on your save file, certain things that would only be stored in memory during play. And the code knows which of these to actually carry over to your save file when it saves, because I have defined it in this list here, this player properties to save.json. I just have string names of the properties that I do want to be stored and kept between sessions. And right now that is just your characters list, and then a handful of things that are shared between all of your characters, such as the amount of gold that you have banked because the bank is shared, and like total time played, experience, those sorts of things. So in order to take a look at the actual implementation of how we load in the player save files when you log in, I have the add player function open here. And this is called right when a player logs in, and the player's ID as well as a few other things are passed in. First thing we do is grab the entire list of players that are logged into the game and create a new entry with our ID, and we set all the default values. These are the default values for every single property that exists on the player, and they're the same for everybody who logs in. So after we set all of those defaults, what we do is actually fetch your save file, your specific save file for your player, and then loop through every single property that you have on your save file, and then overwrite the default with whatever you have on your save. The last piece here is to take a look at the save player function, which is where the functionality for saving your save file lives. This function is called in two different places. It is called once every 5 minutes globally for every single player, and it is also called when you log out. And what it does is pretty simple. It grabs your player object that we were talking about earlier. Keep in mind that your player object through play has been being updated in real time with all of your state of what's happening to your player. So what we do here is we loop through all of the player properties to save that we were also looking at earlier, and we say, okay, for each of these properties, let's grab it off of our player object, stick it on the save file. Once we've looped through every single one, we know that our save file is complete, and we run a SQL query to update our save file column with this new object that we've just created. So there you have it. That is my best, to-the-point summary of how save files are managed in RetroMMO. I hope it was cool getting a more behind-the-scenes look into the game. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by leaving a like, and if you'd like to see even more from me, consider subscribing. You have no idea how much I appreciate the support. If you're interested in watching me work on RetroMMO live, head over to my Twitch page where I stream daily. There's a decent chance I'm even live right now. Link's in the description. Oh, and before I go, I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this video, Covalence. Covalence is a full-stack web development bootcamp and is actually the school that I attended. Covalence's goal is to bring you from zero programming experience to a career-ready software developer, and that is exactly what they did for me. If you are interested in learning web development, I highly recommend that you check them out. Their link is down in the description. So once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.